First, you guys, welcome to the second iteration of our Tech Talk series. Our guest today, and I'm going to probably butcher his name, Thomas Kriebernegg.
Yes.
Get it? Okay. Close. Is joining us from SplitMetrics. You guys are muted and the webinar will be recorded. So if you drop off for another prior engagement, you can come back and watch it later on the Branch website. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Adam Landis. I'm with Branch. I'm the head of growth. I came to Branch via an acquisition about 2 years ago. And my role within Branch is kind of hang out with our customers, with our marketing, with our product, with our sales teams, our partners, and try to understand where is the market going. So conversations like this is what I live for. I love it, figuring out kind of what the future of the industry is going to be. So Thomas, let me hear a little bit about yourself and your company.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Adam. And also thank you very much for inviting me. Happy to be here today. Yeah. I have to say that we have a little bit of similarity, I think, in our history, so to say, because I'm also part of SplitMetrics due to being acquired, so to say. So to give a little bit of context, hi to everybody. My name is Thomas. I've been working in the field of online marketing now since more than 20 years, more than 12 years in the area of app marketing, coming very, I would say, strongly from the area of app store optimization. I founded the company of App Radar, which was focusing on the topic of building an app store optimization tool, as well as operating an agency that is focusing on app growth. And since the end of last year, App Radar has become part of SplitMetrics. And at SplitMetrics, my role is to be the general manager for our agency business that we have there. And yeah, that's what I'm doing since the end of last year, and I'm having a great time so far.
I was actually going to say, I could see by your smile, the acquisition. And that's what I said to Fabiana was, no wonder he's so smiley, he just got acquired. So we could easily sink all of our time into understanding about the acquisition, how things went. I think we should probably have either a follow-up or maybe we'll talk about that offline. Can you, though, summarize like the SplitMetrics App Radar acquisition? Can you summarize kind of how the better together story works there?
Yes, for sure. So I think it was really a match made in heaven, I would even say, because it's really kind of a combination of different companies that bringing together kind of, from my point of view, really the first and all-in-one kind of app growth solution when it really comes to the topic of paid and organic user acquisition. So what I mean by that is that from App Radar side, what we were bringing to the table was an AI-powered app store optimization tool. On SplitMetrics side, there is with SplitMetrics acquired, this is probably the biggest Apple search ads automation and management platform that is available, so to speak, as well as SplitMetrics also has a product called SplitMetrics Optimize, which enables A/B testing also for example, game concepts that are not live yet within the stores. As well as one of the things that App Radar and SplitMetrics had was an agency business, and this has now been kind of combined, where we are providing different services for organic and paid user acquisition, as well as have our own experienced design team in-house as well, where we can really support our clients with all their needs that they have around the topic of user acquisition. And kind of this merge of those two companies, I think, really brings us into a very good spot because I think there isn't any other company out there with having such a complete and all-inclusive offering like we have. Yeah.
I'm assuming that most people that are joining this webinar know that ASO stands for App Store Search Optimization and ASA is App Store Search Ads. I never really understood how those things kind of play together. So how does ASO and ASA like combine together?
Perfect. Thank you very much also for explaining the abbreviations. Yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit in the
There's so many in
therefore
ad
I
tech.
often forget. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, so kind of, as you said, yeah, app store optimization is kind of the topic of becoming more visible within the App Store. We could say it's like search engine optimization for websites. So in other words, you want to be found on Google when somebody is searching for relevant keywords. It's the same if you're operating an app or a mobile game. It's exactly the same applies within the App Store, within the Apple App Store, within the Google Play Store. When somebody is searching for relevant keywords, you want to be there, so to speak. Yeah. So that is kind of, I would say, topic number one of app store optimization.
Well, and you give us an example of that. So like, if you make a fitness app, you want to look up, if someone looks up fitness in the search, you want to show up. So fitness, if that's important, you're going to seed your words. Okay.
Exactly. It can even go, I would say, like go a little bit more niche as well. So fitness is very wide, which also means, like very competitive, which means that from an ASO point of view, you want to identify your niche. So for example, let's say you have a fitness app that is focused on marathon training, for example, yeah, which would be then a good idea that you're optimizing for keywords like marathon training app, and so on and so forth, that people can find your app then for those specific keywords while you're not, like competing with the really big ones that are spending millions, like on ad budget to have good spots within the stores as well as everywhere, so to speak. Yeah. So this is kind of part number one. And part number two of app store optimization is the topic of conversion rate optimization. Because number one, you want to be found. Yeah. So let's go back to the marathon training app. Somebody searching for this keyword. Chances are you're most likely not the only app that is popping up for this keyword, which means that you somehow need to do something better compared to the other apps that are popping up for this one keyword. And what you can do there is falling onto the topic of creative optimization, which means, like optimizing your app icon, optimizing your screenshots to kind of make your app very appealing to your target audience, that they get this feeling of, okay, that's exactly what I want now. Yeah, I need to download this. I want to try this out. Yeah. And so this is the second part of App Store optimization to really, I would say, nail your app icon and screenshots for specific target audiences that you might be addressing, so that you convince them that they're also going to download your app then, yeah?
So is it all about convincing? Is it all about like trying to flash them and grab them? Or is it more about trying to show them what it is you provide? And
Yes,
I've heard,
exactly.
two approaches to marketing there. It's like, just grab them and you can convert as many as you possibly can to paying users, or it's no, give them as much upfront kind of strategy as possible. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, a really great question. Yeah. So I'm personally a very big fan of already communicating value with potential users, because thinking back, especially for the search channel, and also then coming to the ASA question, the Apple Search Ads question as well in the second step then. But this is really, we're talking about people that are, like they have an intent of opening the app store on their smartphone, and they want to look or they want to find a specific app or maybe a game. Yeah. So they have a very intrinsic motivation to do something for that. Yeah. So as mentioned, I want to go and I want to do more running. Yeah. And I want to do a marathon this year, for example. Yeah. So therefore, I'm opening up this, the smartphone, searching for this keyword, and then I find different apps there. And I'm personally a big fan of also communicating value in terms of, features is just, feature is in my eyes the technical explanation of how to deliver value to a customer. But at the end of the day, the customer doesn't really care too much about the technical implementations in the background. For example, that you have the most accurate tracking for your runs or something like that. They just want to know that you can track your runs and everything is saved to the cloud, for example, and they don't have to care about it, so to speak. Yeah. So this means what I like to do a lot and also recommend our clients is to always communicate the value that their app provides to their clients, also during screenshots, for example. As you for sure have seen within the App Store, there are, like very often you see a screenshot of the app, but there are also small banners kind of highlighting the main value or benefit of this, like one screenshot, so to say, which functionality is being shown. Yeah. So I'm a very big fan of that, because this is then kind of playing into also convincing people, because it's always better, if I know what I get out of it, and the more it's also, like speaking my language and kind of really addressing me as a potential person, as a potential user of the app, the more am I convinced compared to if it's just, like random, like feature here, feature there, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And I'm sorry I interrupted. You were saying how ASO and ASA kind of come together.
Exactly. That is now the next step, because the thing is that I would say the downside, or historically speaking, like the app stores are very old nowadays. Even I would say in terms of our technology, like how fast things are progressing there,
I
which
heard a
means
fun
that
stat that there's more apps added per day than when the App Store was launched.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That
and that were existed when the App Store was
yes,
launched.
exactly. That you know, that sums it up very well. Yeah, which also means that in the beginning, you know, like if you were one of those first apps within the App Store, you know, your marketing strategy was, yeah, I have one keyword, I put this in my title, and that's it. You know, everybody will
I
find
have
me.
an
Yeah?
app. What's your key? What's your marketing strategy? Yeah. Old days.
Exactly. But now, you know, like millions of apps later, so to speak, it became a little bit more complicated to rank for specific keywords because there's, you know, like an endless amount of competition normally going on, depending obviously on the niche where you're operating in, but there are thousands of fitness apps, for example. Yeah? Which now is the problem that you have the thing that if you you know, like say, okay, I have this new app, I want to rank on all my relevant keywords, that will be most likely not be possible because just mentioned too much competition going on. And this is exactly where Apple Search Ads as a channel, now specifically for the Apple App Store, as the name also suggests, yeah, kicks in, because this gives you the possibility that you can buy your rankings on specific keywords, yeah. In the background, it's kind of, you know, like an ad network, which means it is kind of a bidding algorithm that is kind of coming to the play. I would say easily summarized, the one who is willing to pay the most for getting the impression, for getting the ad spot within the App Store, will also get the spot on specific keywords that can be targeted. But this is exactly the way what you can do also with a, for example, new app or with a freshly launched app to also get some top positions on relevant keywords. And this will help you, you know, like to get more exposure, and that also people will start downloading your app, hopefully. Yeah.
Interesting. So that's how they play together. Okay.
Exactly. That is how this is kind of all stick together. Exactly.
There was a couple of questions that came up as you were explaining that. One of which from Eric Eden was asking how many apps are added per day. What I heard was in 2009, Steve Jobs, when he announced the App Store, it was open to developers. They had something like 50,000 on the App Store. Now it's 50,000 added per day. And then Zigam Afak, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, asked about optimization of keywords. So where does that play in?
Yes, exactly. That is kind of where I would say once again, kind of App Store optimization and ASA have a really big kind of overlap, because at the end of the day, both channels are kind of you know, like optimizing for specific keywords. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
as mentioned, ASO also has the topic of conversion rate optimization, but however, at the end of the day, you're trying to identify keywords. Yeah, you're and identifying now means, on the one hand side, you want to find the most relevant keywords. I think that is also a very important side note, because even if you, let's say, you know, like the algorithm is favoring apps that are getting the most downloads. Yeah. So, for example, imagine that we would be, you know, like the marketing guys of Tinder. We would have the chance to also optimize for keywords like fitness app, yeah, or running app, for example. Yeah. However, since this keyword is not really relevant with Tinder because it's a dating app, which also means that people might be finding the app, they might be also seeing the ad, but then they will be thinking of it, it's not a running app, yeah, I'm not gonna download it. However, we as the advertisers, we paid kind of for this, yeah. So what I want to say with that is that it is very important to do kind of a keyword research to really identify the keywords that are relevant to your app. You can use tools like, for example, App Radar. This is kind of, I would say, also our origin that we built with having one of the biggest, if not the biggest, keyword database for mobile apps on this planet, where we in the background have a very big, you know, like overview of what are people searching for within the app stores, how is kind of everything connected, how competitive are specific keywords, and this kind of also, you know, like fuels some AI features that we built that help you to identify great keywords for your app. Yeah. So kind of, as mentioned, this is where you can get them from. And then it's about, on the one hand side, you can put them up into Apple Search Ads, which means that you're running campaigns with the goal to run ads on those specific keywords, once again, that are relevant. And on the other hand side, you can also take those learnings in terms of which keywords do really perform good, which keywords do maybe not only bring me downloads, but also bring me revenue by using also MMP technology in the background, like a Branch, for example. This can also then help you, obviously, to take those learnings and also optimize your organic or your App Store listing to also become more visible on the organic side for those keywords that bring you money. Because this also means, you know, like when you're getting paid traffic, as well as you get organic traffic where you don't have to pay for the in-store, but you generate money with it. You know, I mean, that's what do you want to have more, I would say.
Well, that's funny you mention that. We have a very active Q&A session right now. Zigam actually asked that, driving ROAS, and the answer there, of course, is tracking where you're your search ads, which you're paying for, tracking the users, understanding where your revenue is coming from. Eric asked a question that I actually had, but I thought it was a dumb question, so I didn't want to ask it. But Eric, I'm glad you did, because it's obviously not a dumb question. ASO and ASA, when you're actually driving users to click or for those ASA, does the ASA actually help your ASO and vice versa? Is there some type of interplay between those two, the paid and the organics?
Yes, so I would say there are, I would say, mixed feelings and also kind of mixed results in terms of looking at this topic. Yeah. So
Because it's
generally,
not published and like no one
exactly.
really knows, right? Yeah.
Exactly, because only,
Okay.
you know, like we're talking about within Apple now very specifically about the search, as well as talking about the algorithm of Apple search ads. And as we know, Apple is maybe not the most transparent company, you know, they're keeping a lot of secrets by themselves, which also means they are not sharing any official information with that. However, we performed a couple of tests for this topic to figure it out, and as mentioned, kind of mixed results. Yeah. At SplitMetrics, for example, we had a really great use case where I think this, you know, like kind of is all playing into, yeah. So we have been working together with a client of us who is working in the AI, generative AI app space, with an app that can generate videos. So you give it a prompt and it generates a video out of it. One of the things that we identified was one of the keywords that we were kind of coming to a conclusion that might be interesting. So we were kind of finding this keyword on the ASA side, which is cartoon. For this app, you know, if you want to create a video out of yourself, for example, or you film somebody and you want to apply a specific style, I mean, you know, cartoon style, why not? Yeah. So this was one thing that we found out. Yeah. The thing was, we were ranking for this keyword before we kind of, you know, like I said, also the focus there on a position number 50 organically. Yeah. So in other words, you know, like nobody would find the app. Yeah. Because
Right.
scrolling to position number 50 is very long. Yeah. Then we kind of integrated this keyword also within our Apple Search Ads campaigns and also put a little bit more focus on this keyword, which means that we were generating more downloads through this keyword. And we were also giving very positive feedback to the App Store algorithm, because kind of also what the App Store algorithm tries to understand is this app relevant for this keyword? And how they can find this out is by measuring the conversion rates within the App Store for a specific keyword. You know, let's say somebody's searching for a keyword, your app is always being downloaded, you have 100% conversion rate on this keyword. Yeah. And so kind of what we were doing with the strategy is we were climbing up a little bit, let's say, the ladder in terms of relevancy, because we were generating more keywords through this very specific keyword. We're giving the App Store the feedback, hey, look, this app is relevant for this keyword. And what happened is that not only we were able to increase the tap through rate and the conversion rates by also optimizing for this keyword, we were also generating more money, as well as we were climbing up from position number 50 to a nearly top 10 position on this keyword. So which
So it does
means
seem to have some correlation, but we're not quite sure. So probably test, experiment, iterate.
exactly. That is, you know, like for I would say for a lot of marketing activities, test it, yeah, because it's always
Yeah.
depending a little bit on a lot of factors. You know, also, you know, like if our competitors, if they would also have all grasped that cartoon is very interesting, you know, like if all of them would also have started to run ASA specifically on this keyword, then you know the question is also what
They
would
would
have the effect
take
then been,
off.
yeah, you know, exactly, yeah.
Right.
So
So
exactly.
I hate to say this already, but we've blown through our 20 minutes. This is the end of the webinar. There's a lot of questions. How can people find you digitally to chase this down? It looks like I was questions about benchmarks and how to get in touch with you.
Yes, so I think the easiest thing will most likely be if you add me on LinkedIn. You can find me there under Thomas Kripanek. You can also find my name around this webinar within the promotional material. Just add me on LinkedIn, shoot me a message, and then I'm happy to also give you some feedback on your also very specific questions if there should be some. Yeah.
Oh, careful with that. You'll get a lot of inquiries there. You heard it from him, folks. Okay, Thomas, thank you very much for joining. Hopefully it won't be too soggy of a spring in Austria, and we'll do it again soon.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much,
all for
Adam.
joining.